Welcome to New Answers Podcast, Nurturing Spirituality. Our conversation today is on the power within. And this subject stems from a previous conversation that we had that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. Uh, Welcome to our podcast. I'm Gwendolyn Flynn. And as always, I'm joined by my spiritual leader. I'm going to call her my spiritual
Uh-uh.
leader. No, no. Okay. Well, she's in a practitionership. She is a licensed spiritual practitioner in training, Tiffany Lee. So I consider her a scholar, at least, because she's immersed herself in this practice, in this philosophy, in this teaching, and is a lot more advanced in it than I am, and can give us some guidance as we go through this odyssey together as we're nurturing our spirituality. So, the power within. And previously, if you've been following us, we have talked about this in a number of different ways, but in the episode on spiritual mind treatment, we talked about a number of different things, including, what spiritual mind treatment is. And out of that conversation, we learned that it's affirmative, constructive prayer, correct? Am I correct in that, Tiffany?
Yes.
Basically, okay. We talked about it being there are different levels of consciousness. We talked about, the to me, for me, through me, as me. And we talked about the steps to spiritual mind treatment. There are 5 steps, right? The recognition, the unification, um, the realization, right? The ask, thanksgiving, and release. But in the course of that conversation, we talked about, I guess you shared a story about a family that grew up in a traditional Christian discipline, I guess, that didn't believe in the medical community. Um, and that one of the members of the family kind of went off the rails, I guess, in terms of the family and how they've been functioning, and decided to become a nurse, right?
Right. And they weren't Christian. They were spiritual.
Oh, they weren't Christian. Okay.
Yeah, that's why they didn't use, but they were like far in it. So that's why they didn't believe in the medical system.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought they were of a traditional, and I'm thinking, um, what are they called? That come
Like
around with the Bibles and are teaching some
like Mormon or Jehovah Witness.
Jehovah's Witness. That's where I went. Although you didn't say that, but that's where I went with it. Okay, so they were spiritual. Okay, but anyway, she this I guess one of the daughters, I guess, decided to go into the medical community, right?
Right.
Practicing as a nurse,
Yeah.
but discovered some gifts that she had outside of the medical community, right?
Right. So while and I should get her name because I heard it on the radio and I've seen her on a podcast.
Okay.
But while so obviously her family was like, they were far from they never went to doctors and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like for her family, like, why are you going this direction? We know this is not,
Yeah.
why, going 3D, why are you going this direction? But she felt called to do it. And this story really stuck with me because
Mhm.
as I'm studying my practitionership, I see how much my concepts of everything has changed and my connection with source and God. And when I first went back to work, I was like, oh, I don't feel like I align with this. So anyway, And this was Spirit, I think, talking to me when I heard the story. And then she's like, so she's there in the working as a nurse, and all of a sudden, her gifts opened up, and she can like talk to the organs of the body. Like the organs started talking to her to tell her what was wrong. You know what I mean? And like her third eye would open up and she'd just see right in, and the organ would be like, this is what's happening, this is what's wrong. And and it was weird for her. Like even though she grew up in the non-traditional family, this even was weird for her. And she
Yeah.
wasn't sure how to use it. Um and she was worried that she would make a recommendation, because she started making recommendations based on her conversations with the patient's bodies.
Yeah.
And but she was always right, but she was worried, that what if one day she was wrong and it caused the patient's
Yeah.
life. So she did go to her supervisor, head nurse, and told her about it. And then the head nurse was very like, okay, you read energies. You're seeing energy type of thing. I was very okay with it. And then eventually, yeah, she
Interesting.
said some doctors, when they couldn't figure things out, they would call her, and she kind of didn't want to do it, like sometimes, because she didn't want to like make a mistake.
Right.
So then they started doing prescriptions for her to come and lay hands on the patients and stuff like that. So I thought,
That amazing. I mean, and that's why the story stuck with me
yeah,
too. It's like, what? Well, first of all, the doctors now are recognizing her energy, her power. I mean, for the head nurse to say that you're seeing energy, that's
hmm,
huge, isn't it? Don't you think?
yeah,
And for
I
Western
think so.
medicine
Yeah,
to
yeah,
recognize that, and then the doctors feeling so confident, I guess, in believing in her abilities, that they're prescribing her to do some healing, I guess, with their patients.
right,
That's huge. That's huge. That's
yeah.
huge.
But you know what? I think that, um, gosh, sometimes I feel like the medical profession is a scam, because if you think about, and I talked about this, when you think about how they do clinical trials, and they do a clinical trial
Yeah.
against a placebo, which is nothing. You know what I mean? They're like, you're going to give some patients medicine and some patients a sugar
Nothing.
pill, which is
Yeah.
nothing, then see how well it works. And the people
Yeah.
taking the sugar pill have results similar to the medicine, but in order for that medicine to pass the FDA or whatever, it has to be 10% better than the sugar pill. But they know that once they tell a patient, oh, this is going to heal you, that their mind is so powerful that it's healing. They start healing.
Yeah.
So the medicine's just all medicine. I think this is really, really, really important to understand. And it's something that's come up in my newest class that I'm taking, is that the medicine, going to the doctor, the medical community is not there to heal you. It's there to help your body cure the symptoms that are showing up. And I think in the new world, with things being recognized, um, I think that this reality is going to come out more, and healing from something, curing some. So symptoms are your illness. Illnesses are symptoms of something going on, and that's what we talked about in our class. So you have, say, cancer. Um, Sorry, my window's dirty. So yeah, but I'm on the third level, so I'm like, how am I going to clean this window? Sorry, I got distracted. So let's say you have cancer, and but we're thinking like, we have cancer, we have to cure it. And whether you go to the doctor to do it or you use natural remedies, both ways can cure the symptoms of cancer. But a lot of people rebound, what I mean? And then when they rebound, the rebound's worse, and they tend to cross over faster from the rebound. And I think that it's because they're, as my teacher likes to say, a cure is not healing, and a healing is not curing. So you can cure your symptoms, but the healing is in your consciousness. It's what caused you to get sick in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you don't cure that,
Yeah.
so then you are just going to have the same symptoms come up in your
Come
body
up again.
because your
Yeah.
body's trying to talk to you. It's telling you there's something wrong.
Yes.
So I do think like I feel like the medical profession or medicine should go in that direction,
Yeah.
which is which is ancient. It's the way it used to be,
A- yeah.
before they, you know,
Ancient
suppressed the
wisdom.
divine feminine and started calling women witches that were healers.
Exactly.
So if you just heal your
Mm.
consciousness over something, whatever the illness is trying to tell you, you could get rid of the symptoms as well
Yeah.
first. You
Right.
know,
Right.
there's
That's
no
why I
problem
wanted to,
with helping it out both ways.
that's why I wanted to have this conversation. So the example of the woman we were talking about who has this ability and it was recognized by the head nurse, and then the doctors. I don't think she's unique. I think that we all have that ability,
Right.
right? But we
Yes.
just don't recognize it, or it hasn't surfaced in the same way it did with her. And I've always felt that the medical community, and then as I started working in it, in like public health policy, basically, and learning how the medical association or the medical community, the Western medicine, is about treating and managing disease and illness. They're not
Right.
about curing it. Like they don't get
No.
to, they just deal with the symptoms. They don't get
Yeah.
to the cause of those symptoms. And it's like, and that prevention to me is the way to go. And I think that they're moving in that direction, just in the illustration the example that we talked about. They're trying to get there. They're moving there slowly. So I wanted
Well,
to
because
make
I
that point.
think let's
Okay.
let's we have to remember that in America, medicine's um, a business. It's all
It's a
about the money.
business. Yeah, it's about money.
But doctors individually, a lot of people that choose to be doctors, one, it's all they know. They grew up in this society and they might truly care. So it may not be that in the whole medicine organization,
Yeah,
that it ultimately the, the people that formed American medicine did it
yeah,
for a profit. you
yeah.
know, that's it's all tied.
It
Food
is.
and drug, the food and I get so frustrated because when you think about it, when you you waking up to these things and you realize like the food and drug industry is one business, they're feeding us to make us sick so they can sell us drugs. You know,
Yeah,
um, it's
that's
kind
the
of
way it looks.
maddening,
It is. It
and
really
it's right in our face
it
too.
it if they could find a way to make money off of prevention, off of preventing this and getting to the cures, then they would go in that direction.
And they would go in
Right.
that direction exactly. But right now, they make money off of illness.
Yeah.
So I think it's China or Japan. I think it's that they actually get paid to cure, not to keep you sick
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
America. So that's why I do like Eastern medicine
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's really more focused on healing.
On healing. Yeah.
So you don't, you use a lot of natural stuff, but you also help you connect with your body a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you do the healing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was telling a friend who is having some medical issues, and he said he's noticed it all year that his energy is getting low and that his kidneys aren't working well. And he's very spiritual, but
Oh.
he's not embodied in his spirituality. He's spiritual for to make money. He's spiritual to do certain things, right? But
Mm.
what I was telling him was, and I kind of downloaded it when it came to him. And then today I was like, ooh, that works for me too. That's a really good download. Was that I got from a reading that he doesn't have a main illness. He doesn't have anything that's going to kill him or anything like that soon. but his path is going in two ways. He could continue on the path he's in, and he's going to get illnesses that he's going to have to deal with on a regular, or he can start connecting with his emotions. Because, oh, yeah, this was such a good download.
Wow.
Because what Spirit told me was, we don't get sick and die and age because of we're getting older per se. It's because we were born and we start packaging into our body experiences and emotions and stuff. Because you've heard that all our illnesses are based on some unreleased emotion. You've probably heard that, right?
Yeah.
But you think about it, like as we go about the day, we have so many things that happen to us, so many experiences. And if
Mhm.
we don't just allow it to flow through, it gets stuck in our cells. So
Mm.
the 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 message I got was, we become like suitcases of experiences and emotions that we're really supposed to just experience life, let everything flow through us, like everything's an experience. We
Yeah.
don't need to pack this up and go with us to the next world.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the
So
way
yeah, it
you,
was
yeah. I like the way you explain that. Yes.
yeah.
That makes sense to me for sure. Uh,
So even me, and so this came through to me yesterday when I was talking to him. And this morning I woke up like I've been so busy doing so many things, and my body has been inflamed, and my knee, I could barely walk yesterday. My knee was sore.
mm,
My ankle's been bothering me for a long time. And then the download, I remembered it this morning and I was like, oh, what am I carrying? I'm obviously carrying a lot right now because my body is really like inflamed, but it's very empowering. What I did before I got for work, I just kind of like scanned my body and was like, okay, you're sore there. Why are you sore? What are you trying to tell me?
mm,
And then and listen to it. It could be random. I heard something like my right side had a lot of inflammation. And basically, my body's saying, you're working too much. You're doing too much. You need to ask for help.
mm,
So, because the right side is the masculine side, that's the doing side. And that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
and then when I heard that from myself, I then remembered that my bosses were telling me that. They're like, don't try and be Superman, Superwoman. Ask for
Mm,
help. We have a whole team. So then that dawned on me. And then I was like, oh man, I don't really know how to ask for help that much. I'm used to like
yeah.
doing, like, I
Right.
might ask for a little bit
Just,
of help. It's not done right. I just do it. And I literally have a lot on my plate that I have to learn to ask for help with,
yeah.
so I did one step today. I did call someone and I was like, I need help with something. And she helped me. And I do feel like some of the inflammation went down. So it's kind of cool. It's like kind of a new empowering modality to like just ask my body, like,
Right.
you know,
Right. And that we have that ability. It's just about paying attention to our body. So the nurse example that we talked about in the beginning was
uh-huh,
just an example. She's not she's not an outlier. She's not special necessarily. I mean, she does have this ability, but I
uh-huh.
think we all have that ability if we just pay attention to it, right? Right.
Yeah, we just have to, it's, she grew up in a family that was a lot more open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's really what it is. She's just
Yeah.
a lot more open. And um, even though she did say it kind of freaked her out a little bit, but obviously Spirit knew it wasn't going to freak her out that much. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
she was able to do it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's what it is us being open to
Hmm.
um, our spiritual selves that we
Yes,
are. And that's why when you're like, you're calling me the spiritual leader, like, no, because first of all,
I know.
every single one of us is
And
perfectly whole, connected. We
yes,
are our most important element is that we are our spirit. We are spirit. We're part of the spirit. So
our
we
spirit.
all have that perfectness about us, and we
Yeah.
all have a connection to source. And even though I go through classes, most of my learning, it comes in meditation. It comes in the downloads.
Mm,
And I get the downloads and then I'll read it in the book afterwards. And that's just because I'm open for it. I'll read in the book or some other one, someone else on YouTube, it'll come through,
Mhm.
So I think I'm at the point of, because I'm so open and I'm learning, like I said, mostly direct from spirit, you just have to be
Yeah,
open to it.
be open
Yeah,
and pay attention to it.
that I think that healing's coming into my modality because I did get the cancer download, but I just shared like about a month ago. And
Mhm.
yeah, a month ago, over a month ago, before I started my latest class,
Mhm.
that second chapter in talked about that too, you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, healing, the difference between healing and curing and, working together and everything. So I'm excited about that because I really love the idea of being able to heal myself first.
But yeah, self-healing.
Mhm.
This is
And
part of the power within. That's why we're
it
talking about it.
is.
And this
The
is what
power within is who? Is what?
it's it's the ultimate magnificent, what is it? The I think the name that you gave
It's
it was the prime creator,
yeah, I like to say prime creator.
the
You can
prime,
say God, you can say
yeah,
source, you can say
yeah.
energy,
I
but
say
I like to
everything
say,
but God. But
yeah,
you
I
know,
know that's right.
I talk about the infinite invisible, the
Oh, that's pretty. Yeah,
divine intelligence that's there. And it's about connecting to that, remembering that it's within us. It's
yeah,
already there. It's not like we have to attract it, that we just reveal it, right?
revealing. In fact, this week, especially with my inflammation, I've been focused on remembering that I am spirit, just having a physical experience. Okay, so we
Yeah.
say that, but do we really comprehend and
I
embody what that
know.
means?
That's
Like,
the
just think
thing.
about it. Like, we
Yes.
are spirit,
Yes.
having we're gifted with this body
Mhm.
to be in this density of the world. So even our illnesses is kind of an experience. We don't have to be scared of it, put it that way, because it's
Oh,
just an experience. It's not who we are.
yeah.
We all know we're not going to stay in this form. That's part of the
Mhm.
experience too.
Mhm.
So there's no reason to be scared of it. It's just for some reason. And I think this was my question to spirit this week was
Mhm.
how do we know that if we get something, if we didn't decide, oh, I want this experience to grow my soul, or if it's something where your body's like, hey, we're not working at optimum health because you're carrying some stuff you need to release. So that's my latest question.
Right.
And I mean, it'll come through. So maybe our next filming. But
And
yeah.
that is the natural next, thing is like having the answer to that question. Because, that's something that I would raise too in our conversation, but I'll wait for the download to happen so that we can get the answer to that. Because here's another idea that comes to me kind of related to this, and maybe it's a little off kilter a little bit. I'm still trying to talk about the power within. And going back to some of our previous conversation, well, maybe not our conversations, but here's what I had been thinking. And I'm not sure if it aligns with what we are talking about now. That we are we agree to come to this planet, and in that agreement, we have been endowed with gifts, with talents, with skills, with things that we bring to this planet, this incarnation, right?
Hmm.
And so our life is to uncover what those gifts are if we don't know immediately, because we may not know immediately when we come here what those gifts, talents, and skills are that we've been endowed with. But our lifespan is to discover and uncover what those are and to utilize them. And again, that's the power within. Um, and we each have, because we're individuals, we have different skill sets. I think we generally can plug in and do some self-healing, where our health is concerned, but we may have other gifts and talents too that we are supposed to share with the world, and that becomes our purpose, right? And as long as we are aligned with our purpose, that our life becomes less hard, right? We are, we give those gifts, we give those
Right,
um, skills and talents. Uh, as long as we are coming from a God place, from the heart, right? Um, but we all have something unique, but we all do, once we are tapped into the God consciousness, that we can do like I was going to say the laying of hands, which you hear a lot about in the traditional Christian um, practices of religion, right?
right,
And so that means that in that discipline that we all have that ability to do that. But we also have some unique abilities that we're supposed to use too. So and again, those become that's the power within that we have. I still think that that's how that works. I don't know if that makes any sense at all to you to react to.
I think
Um,
that I mean, if you think, if we are all spirit, right, and
uh-huh.
and we're all spirit, so we're all one, and that's what they mean by we're all one, but we're individualized, you know,
Yes.
and um, and that's where like the ego comes into play, but the positive side of the ego to individualize us, but we came in with veils where we forgot who we are. And the forgetting of who we are is forgetting that we are spirit, that we are like an expression of God.
Yeah.
Um, and because we forgot that we're an expression of God, we separate ourselves from our own natural gifts and powers, right? I don't know if that was the actual intent. I mean, you hear um, so many different spiritual teachers. Some say that it was taken from us from the Anunnaki. It was separated from us. You can even actually research Christian history, and how they create the Bible and stuff like that. And you can
Right.
see, if you do the research, you could see where they changed the teachings to disempower us from ourselves. So I don't think that ultimately we were supposed to be so separated. We weren't supposed to be so sick. Because too, the other thing in the Bible, people lived longer, you know, and they walked with God, and they walked with angels, and they talked to ancestors. So they were a lot less disconnected.
Yeah.
Um, so saying that, I think that we're disconnected, not, you know, not because that was the actual intent of this creation,
Uh-huh.
but that at some point the collective or the leaders that were power to be, they lead, didn't want the masses, the collective, to have our connection. And
Uh,
so that's why we're in the Great Awakening. We're people are in the masses are
yeah.
awakening to their gifts, and
Yes.
it only takes, like the Bible says, seeking you will find. Once you start seeking, just like and me, like we started
Yes.
noticing, like, um, that there was something wrong with the traditional
Right.
teachings. Um, like seeking is like saying we're opening up to more awareness, to more wisdom, to more knowledge.
Absolutely.
And spirit is going to give it to you. And it gives it like some people will have like a massive, huge awakening to it all, and they
Mhm.
call it psychosis. And I can't imagine, like, thank God it didn't happen for me like that. You
Mm,
know, for me, it's been since I was a child, a little bit, a little bit. And then when I was ready, now I've
mhm.
dived deep into it because, I didn't have the influence of, like, say, the lady we were talking about earlier, where her
Uh-huh.
family was just very open. So therefore, she was raised like that.
Yeah,
And I wasn't raised like that per se. A little bit more, but a little bit more than traditional, where I have some people, some friends that are so traditional Christian that their whole life is based in fear, which
I know.
is kind of silly because
It
God
is.
says don't fear, but then the confusion where it says God says don't fear, but fear him, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Or
It,
fear. If I bring up chakra systems, she's like, don't talk that double step with me. And I was like, what?
oh, right. Right, right,
And you
right.
can't
Yeah,
even like explain like why
yeah,
would you call that double step? You just because you don't understand, you're scared of it.
exactly. That's what
But
that,
can
yeah.
you imagine a world where we are all awake and um,
I can.
connected?
I can imagine that. That's why we're here talking about it.
Right. Here's
Yeah,
Errol.
bring it.
You're
Hi,
asking me
Arrow.
now.
Hi, Arrow. Arrow wants a little loving
I'm
right
sitting
now.
on the floor, so he's very tall to me right now.
Oh. But yeah, I can't imagine a world like that, which is why I think we're talking about it. It's like
Right.
we have the power within ourselves. We don't need leaders. Even though I kind of misspoke earlier when I was opening up this conversation, talking about you're the spiritual leader, but I really believe that we all are leaders, right? We don't need a one person leading us because
Right. Nope. Yeah.
we all have the power within our gifts, our talents, that we must express. That's why we are here. And in that expression, this is how we get to this new earth. The emergence, this is what I'm thinking. This is Gwen. The emergence of the new earth, because we awaken to the connection that we have with the divine invisible, and
Mhm.
we come to express our gifts and talents from our heart, and recognize that this is our purpose. This is why we're here. And in that expression, and whether it's self-healing or whatever it is, the new earth emerges. I can
Yeah.
see it. I believe it's going to happen because more of us are talking about it. I hear within I guess the lexicon, or the discussions, the use of terms that used to be, couched in spirituality, which was kind of a scary thing, and
Yeah.
it
Taboo
was
and
taboo, and now it's kind of part of the mainstream about manifesting. You hear that all, everybody's talking about manifesting, right? And
yeah.
understand that you can manifest from your words and from your thoughts. I can, it's now part of the lexicon. And it's like, oh, okay. So
Yeah.
people have finally, we're catching up. And this is where the emergence of the new earth comes from, I think.
And the shadow side of, the world right now is causing the light to shine more. So it's really about love. You know what I mean? Like, so we have so much negative, so much shadow happening that that's really what's causing the light to shine, people to realize, to wake up to love,
Yeah,
to realize, like, they don't really want to hurt people, that we're all one, we're all the same. Why are we, who are these people that are making the decision to put children in, concentration camps and,
they,
tearing families apart?
right.
In my one of the apartment buildings I manage, one of my residents he's from Ukraine or something like that.
Hmm.
He was here on a visa. and he went to go pay a parking ticket and he got picked up because he doesn't speak good English. And even though
Wow.
the charges that were put against him and ICE were dropped within because a month because he's here legally. He just went to go pay a parking ticket. They still kept him for 6 months. And he had a baby and a wife. He has a wife and the baby, he missed his baby's first birthday. And the
Oh,
wife wanted to stay home and she didn't drive and she didn't speak English. Well, the neighbors, when they found out about it for the last few months, when she ran out of money, like they started paying her rent. So that was like really a beautiful thing.
what?
Yeah. And now he's out. And you
What?
can see
Oh, I
it.
love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And so now he's out.
Now he's out. Yeah. And obviously his wife is so happy, but she's like, he's changed. There's definitely he was definitely like you
Change.
mentioned,
Yeah.
hit and they treated him really, really bad. So that's hard. Like the shadow part is holding on so strong, knowing it's
Yeah.
losing its power, just holding on so strong, but it's not new. And that's the thing is people are waking up to the fact that this is not new. These people that have been doing this to other people have been around for thousands of years,
Right.
and now we're waking up being like, we don't need this. And like you said, we don't need leaders because, like I said, when I connect, I get all the information I need, and I know that it's going to show up in my class next. And so when I take a class and I read the book that was written by someone 50 years ago for Science of Mind,
Mm-hmm.
like I already have the download.
Hmm.
Now I'm reading it as a backup. So the infinite mind, the wisdom, like the prime creator's mind is
Yeah.
there in access for all of us. And everything and that's what we address in spiritual mind treatment is that because God is God, God is everything, everyone, all creation comes from my prime creator source, God, whatever you want to call it, that
Yes.
and we're just expressions of it. We're created expressions of source that of course we're creating. So when we talk about um manifesting is just another word for creating, really,
Yes, it
because
is.
we're constantly creating. So in the
Mm-hmm.
Bible it says God spoke the words to create. That's what we do too. And that's why we have to be careful with what we say and we think and
Right.
do because everything we say, it's like we're creating our life constantly and manifesting is being conscious of what you say based on what you want to create.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Every
Uh,
experience you want to create. And I recently, part of the download from my friend yesterday was to remind him that we're here for the experience in this 3D body, in this density.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're creating, it's kind of like a play, like
Mm-hmm.
if you're creating a play, every word counts, right? And every word
Yes.
counts. It's going to lead to something.
Uh,
And that's how life is. So, I recently manifested my new job, this apartment, all
you're
these
living.
things.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But with that manifestation, I didn't realize how much work, I'm experiencing
Yes. Yeah.
the effect of the manifestation,
Manifestation.
to be in this home and the job, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So some people will be like, oh, you got a free, because, the apartment's part of, the townhome's part of my salary with it, but they'll think like, oh, you got a free home. And I was like, no, I
No,
work
it's not
really
free.
hard every day.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so
It,
sometimes, so I've even had to be like, okay, I got to be careful with what I
yep.
wish.
What you wish for.
Because I'm
Be
like,
careful
I
what
didn't
you
know
wish
I was
for.
going to be working so hard, but
Yeah.
it's still, but the awesome part is that it's realizing how much control you have. I could be like, okay, so now what? What next? What do I want to manifest?
Right, right,
I
right.
manifest a car, but that might mean car payment, or do I want a free car? But you know what I mean? Like you got to
Yeah,
be really detailed and specific about what you
I think you do. Yeah.
And
But
there's
if you
nothing
want a
wrong with
car, I mean,
that. Yeah,
something else will happen to,
yeah,
the universe will move and shake things around so that you can have that car and payments won't be an issue for you. You know
right.
what I mean? Yeah,
Exactly. That's I got to remember to put that in there. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's
Do.
whatever the consciousness
Yeah,
is. So if I believe that to get a new car means I'm going to have a car payment I can't afford, that's what's going to happen. And
yeah.
that was the consciousness I was at just a minute ago. And then I had to remind myself,
You gotta
you
it
reminded me, it doesn't have to be that way.
doesn't have to be that way. Nope,
Right,
it doesn't. Yeah. Um, and you talked about hard work to get some of the things, for those things to have manifest and how that showed up somehow in your body because it was, your inflammation started to rise or whatever. So these experiences do happen because it teaches us something, right? We're
right.
learning
Yeah,
something along the way.
exactly.
And so, in that idea of everything works together for your good, no matter what happens,
No
it's
matter what. Yes, it
either way,
just,
it's working together for your good. There's
right,
an experience that you're having because, there's something that you have to learn from that. It's teaching you,
right.
right? So
It's,
it's all good. Oh, I hope folks are getting this, are really, because it's really starting
you're downloading right now and you're
I,
teaching me. I was like, it's clicking. I'm like, oh yeah, it's
oh
and think about
yeah,
it because
yeah,
I got all this. The job is a lot, it's a lot of learning, it's
yeah,
a lot of work, but my body's like, oh, you're doing too much. And I'm like,
yeah,
but I in my head, I'm like, but I have to because
but
I'm this beautiful new apartment. And but that's that's work in my consciousness, right?
yeah,
Where it's like that part of me that says you have to work really hard to have these nice things.
mm-hmm,
So that was in my consciousness. Where the reality is, no, we know we create. Spirit is going to say yes to whatever, and I need to release that, and everything's fine, and I get to
yes.
have what I want without my body having to inflame.
Yes, there you go. Okay, so what are you, audience, listening to this? What are you manifesting? What powers within are you expressing? What are you realizing? That's what I hope this is what you're getting. Because I mean, I'm learning and I'm growing from this, and I'm hoping that those of you who are tuning into this are doing the same thing. We may not be at the same levels, but I hope because every week, every episode, the topics may sound different, but we end up at the same place, don't
We
we?
do, don't we?
Yes. We're saying the same thing each time under a different heading, basically. It's about connecting to the divine spirit, the prime creator, as Tiffany calls it, and connecting and uh, and demonstrating your purpose from a God-centered place, from your heart. Those things become your purpose. You have gifts and skills that you were endowed with when you came to this earth. You need to express that. And in that expression, you're going to have experiences. And all those experiences are things, it's teaching you something. It's how you're growing. Um, and everything that you give, the universe is giving back to you. Let me just say that, right? I think the universe is giving back. If you are coming and activating your gifts that shows that this is what you know to be your purpose, that you will be given whatever your needs will be met. And and if you release this, I think there was part of the five in terms of the mind, spiritual mind treatment and the five steps. The last step was like releasing, right?
Yes.
You feel like such a weight has been lifted off your shoulder. So I hope that's what you're getting. Um, any final thoughts that you want to? leave with the audience as we close this out? This has been a great conversation.
Yeah, it was a good conversation. Most important thing is to remember that we're here for the experience. We are spirit in experiencing a body and the density of this earth, and not to take it too seriously. Let things flow through you. Don't hold on to anything. Detach yourself from all outcomes.
Ah, yeah, that's an
We
important.
don't need to take a suitcase back to the other side. We're leaving it here. So let things flow. Experience life.
I love that. That's a great place to end it. So thank you for joining us on this episode of New Answers Podcast, Nurturing Spirituality. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love it for you to select the subscribe button so that you can get notices whenever we post new episodes. So until next time, I'm Gwendolyn Flynn on behalf of Tiffany Lee. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.